Hi everyone, my name's Wayne Riley. This is Singleton, quite a large town in the Upper Hunter with a population in excess of 20,000 people. This is approximately 8 o'clock in the morning and the level of dust in the area is considered poor. This is the time when children are looking at getting up and going to school and playing in the playgrounds and being outside. I've decided to produce this video on truck dust to show the cumulative effect that it is having on our community and is unsustainable. This presentation has been created to show the significant effect that the large dump trucks operating within an open cut mine have on the airborne dust created while dumping overburden on a daily basis. Significantly, I have found out recently that the dust produced from the dumping process of these trucks is not considered in the cumulative effect of airborne dust and pollution created by mines. This is just simply ridiculous. The first clip of dumping operations at Yancoal's Warkworth mine was taken mid-morning on the 12th of June. It was considerably a windy day as shown by the trees in the foreground. The dust creation was significant. The mine kept operating even though these levels of dust were being created here and elsewhere on the mine site. The next clip has been sped up for convenience. The clip equates to only about 2 minutes of operation. The wind was from the west-northwest, sending the dust immediately towards Mount Thorley, Singleton and beyond towards the Lower Hunter. This photo was taken on the 20th of July. The arrows will show 2 dump points. One is to the left in the foreground and the other is off to the far top right in the distance. The following clip of the nearby dump will show, by looking at the trees, that on this day there was only a very gentle breeze. However, it will also show that while it was not as violent as on a windy day, there is almost the same amount of airborne dust created during the dumping process. I have sped the clip up by 2 times just to make it more convenient to watch. The following pages are from the Environmental and Heritage Dust site. They do state a disclaimer. The first one is of the 20th of June. They do indicate the levels of dust when I took the video was in the poor range of between 50 and 60. Earlier that morning, the levels reached the hazardous range of over 100. The next page is of the 15th of August. Please take note of the very high readings late at night or early morning. This supports my theory that mines commonly act even more irresponsibly under the cover of darkness. Often the levels drop because of wind shifts from dust monitors, not a deliberate significant change in operation of the mine. The most disturbing fact with all of this is that with these high levels there is no immediate action by our authorities, and I ask why. Each truck on the faraway dump is creating the same amount of dust as the nearby dump trucks. It is estimated 1 kilo of dust per tonne becomes airborne. These 300-tonne trucks produce 300 kilograms of airborne dust every 90 seconds. Besides the substantial dust shown, the large plume to the left of centre in the inset photo is the result of a shovel loading these trucks. Again, this clip has been sped up by 2 times for convenience, again only showing about 3 minutes of operation. Something to also take note of within this video is the exhaust fume plumes that these trucks also create. Those plumes are also adding to the carcinogenic pollution from these mines in a serious level, besides the dust that they produce as well. And this is happening all the time. This aerial shot shows the dust over part of the mine site and then reveals the proximity to Mount Thorley industrial area. Singleton is off in the distance, obscured by the obvious airborne dust. This next clip clearly shows that the mine is the main source of dust engulfing Mount Thorley and beyond. The clip starts only a couple of 100 metres to the east of the mine and the Putty Highway, showing very clear hillsides, and then pans around to show the path of the dust and pollution created from this mine on the day, and the vast extent to which it travels. This next clip has also been sped up by 2 times. It shows trucks arriving at both dumps and the enormous amount of dust that each dumping process creates. It is simply ridiculous that this dust is not considered in the cumulative effect of airborne dust on the pollution factor that needs to be considered. For those unfamiliar with open cut mining in Australia, this next clip will give you an idea of how big these trucks are. This truck is rated at 340 tonne and approximately the size of a small double-storey home. Just to help again with comparison, this dust cloud in a short while is a footy field long. It's as high as a 5-storey building and just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and this is happening every 90 seconds. Incredible. The clip was taken only the day after the combined dump footage, on the 25th of June 2019. The wind has only increased to about 10 knots. Yancoal and other mines that produce this consistent amount of out-of-control pollution within the Hunter show that they have little regard for the health and well-being of everyone that lives here in the Hunter, and they need to be held to serious account. It's just ridiculous, and we can't sustain it any longer. The very upsetting thing is that it doesn't really matter what day you go out. You experience the same amount of inappropriate mining by this particular mine that I have seen. This is on a day when the wind was virtually still or slightly blowing from the north directly towards Bulga. Because of the amount of dust that was shown, that is why I went out and started to look again. We need to consider the cumulative effect of these trucks being loaded, as well as them removing their overburden, and also all of the other machinery that creates this enormous amount of dust that enters our atmosphere. This next clip shows you the dust that has been created from 2 load points of these trucks. Remembering that this photo is taken from a long distance, it shows you that these dust clouds are now in the vicinity of hundreds of metres high, hundreds of metres long, and drifting directly towards the community of Bulga. At this point you can see that the dragline has actually stopped production for some reason. I'm not sure because they became aware of my presence or not, but it certainly you can see the difference in the amount of dust it was producing, as I've now shown in this clip again, just to give you a good reminder of the amount of dust that these machines produce. This machine, remember, off in the distance is over 100 metres long, so it gives you some idea of the extent of these dust clouds. I want to sincerely thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope I've convinced you that the dust that's created by these trucks is substantial and it needs to be considered a serious threat to our environment. We also need to hold to account the planning departments and also the government to make sure that this type of situation where things are being virtually ignored stops. We need to make a stand. I'd ask you to share this video with other like-minded people if you agree with its basic content. We need to stand with this fight together to bring about change in the future for our families and for our children and the future of their children as well. Thank you again for watching.